There we are.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday night. It feels like forever and a day, but we're into October. Like, it also feels like forever and a day since, we've been here.
Feels like it's been a year since it's been October.
It's been a long...
No, maybe only like 11 months.
Today was just the longest month of fall so far, without Facebook going.
Well, you know what? I didn't even know about that because I had nowhere to go to be told that Facebook was down.
I spent the afternoon hanging out on Twitter, and let me tell you something. Don't do it. At least my Twitter, because I don't really follow much on there. My posts, like, just for anybody who wants to follow me, but I'm going like, there ain't nothing going on over here, So
yeah, I had went over to Twitter too to see if it was just us or if there was more of a national thing, and it was interesting. There's some witty people on Twitter.
Oh yeah, Twitter's got some good stuff. But
I'll take your word for it.
I don't follow
I never
any
cared
of those.
for it.
I don't follow enough interesting people in the world. I really don't follow anybody. I just went through my entire Facebook thing before. I probably is why it crashed, because this morning I went through Facebook stuff and said I'm going to stop following this person for 30 days. I'm going to stop following this business for 30 days. I don't care about this DJ Expo for 30 days. I just dumped probably about 20 people. I just didn't know, no reason to see what's going on in their life. I just don't need to know.
You're just a radical. You're just a radical.
I broke the internet.
You did.
So it's good to know that obviously everybody was still able to find us. I mean, I know you did some tagging there at the end, and I got my email earlier in the day. So for those of you that are like, well, I just always tune in at this time. I don't care. I just automatically go to the channel. But for those of you that follow the link, I was very happy to see that you're joining us. So thank you.
Exactly. And we, of course, are not streaming on Facebook because it's still down as far as that goes. I'm going to try to do a couple of things with that, but I don't think we're going to be able to do anything on Facebook. So if you guys can share the link to the video on a Facebook page here, that would be absolutely great, because otherwise people won't see us tonight on Facebook. So, and we got a great topic tonight. This will be so much fun.
This is going to be interesting.
Yes. I decided with today's this video, I usually don't put a description in, but today I thought, this one needs a description.
I did quite find that humorous when I was reading the email. I was like, oh, okay. So that's that. I was like, you know what? It's rural Minnesota, so nothing should surprise me.
I didn't read it because I only read Facebook. Sorry, I couldn't even say that without laughing. I still look at it as going, he keeps picking these topics that I have nothing to talk about. So
Did you read the description of the topic, though?
It's it's when we go to his thing.
No. Like, did you read the whole way to the end?
I don't read. I'm read to. So, I usually computer speak to me, or phone read that to
well,
me.
Dan, if you would be so kind as to
Oh.
I just got a notification says this meeting is being live streamed.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if we can connect it straight to Facebook on the Disc Jockey News channel.
Oh, got it. I was kind of live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook.
Yeah, so...
Should I go read it now, Dan, or are you just going to tell it to me?
Let me just put it this way. Get a big glass of water ready.
Go ahead, Dan.
I don't know if that'll be enough.
Oh, my God. I'll sit lightly.
Yes.
All right. So, John,
Uh-huh.
what is on your mind about this topic tonight? First, tell them about the topic in case they haven't read anything.
Yeah, so tonight's topic, last Friday I had a homecoming dance, and the week before Brian Red had his first homecoming dance of the season. He actually has got a couple that he's doing, but he hasn't done one in a long time, and he did a little video on talking about his playlist, and I thought that was kind of neat. So I did my first homecoming last Friday night, and I was thinking, it's like, we should go through the list. And I wanted to get your guys' opinions and thoughts on the songs, and would, maybe take a look at the song and say, oh, I like that song, but I follow it up with this, or I like to use this in a different situation. That's what I was thinking we could do for the show. But then I thought, what would be really popular with the crowd is why I wrote the description. And I'll read the description from tonight's show, for those of you who didn't get a chance to read it. In this episode, John will share his homecoming playlist from his rural Minnesota small school dance from last Friday night. Dan and MJ will give their thoughts on which Huey Lewis in the News song would follow up John's song picks the best. I added the best. Yeah. Because Huey can fit in every category. It'll be great. It'll be fabulous.
At any time tonight, if you want to discuss this about homecoming dances, you can. The fact that I've turned down at least 4 of them this fall. So if that means anything to anybody.
I think they're actually, let's kind of talk about that for just a second, because Brian doesn't get calls for homecoming dances either. But this year, he did. And it seems that some schools are having a difficult time with it. And Dan, when I asked you about homecoming dance, kind of give the Dan. I asked if he's done any, and Dan, you give me your reply on that one, please.
Locally, we just don't really have many schools that opt for it. I don't really know why. I've noticed like the school I grew up, we didn't have a homecoming dance. Like when I was hearing about it, I'm like, okay, I guess, but they do their crowning at the football game. They do everything associated with homecoming during the football game. There's just no dance associated with it at all. Couple schools here and there, but a lot of times it becomes very last minute in their planning. And this is such a huge wedding time that by the time they're willing to discuss homecoming, I'm booked. Like there's no option. I've also heard of like some other areas, like some like other states and stuff, where they'll do homecoming Friday night after the football game. It'll be like, okay, football game ends and it goes. I think one of the things that kind of limits that is, at least in PA, if you're under 18, there's what they call the Cinderella license, where you have to be off the roads. And I want to say it's 11 or 10. I keep forgetting which one it
11.
is.
It used to be midnight, and they backed it off about 4 years ago to 11.
Okay, so if that's the case, if you're under that guise, your dance would have to end by 10:30.
Yeah.
And if the game doesn't end until 9:15, 9:30, you're talking an hour. So a lot of the schools won't, locally at least, don't opt for that for that reason.
That's very interesting. I've not heard that curfew idea and how that's affected. Interesting.
It was also the same time that they passed the law in Pennsylvania that if you ride in the left lane without passing for a half a mile, you can get a $300 ticket. I love it.
No, the curfew's been longer than that.
No, whatever the curfew was, they put it was the junior driver's license time that you had to have the junior driver's license before you go take your full test.
That's different. That's different than the curfew.
When they added that, they added the left lane thing. So get the freak out of the left lane unless you're passing.
Yeah. You
sidetrack. See, I don't know anything
putsy
about
drivers.
homecoming, so I'm just going to sidetrack the whole night with
putsy drivers.
What else is new?
Laws.
So Dan mentioned, of course, that some parts of the country do the Friday night after the game, and that's a big thing here in Minnesota and probably in the upper Midwest. I guess I've not done homecomings outside of Minnesota, beyond a little Wisconsin and North Dakota, but we do Friday nights. The Saturday night there's some of those that do happen in the metro area. There are actually some games that play Saturday afternoons at some schools, but most of our homecomings are Friday night. So with that being said, that means that it sometimes is if the game is, a passing game, both teams are passing and they're scoring and moving the ball, whatever, there are times where our dances have been from 10 o'clock to 11:30 because they want kids out of there by midnight and, cleaned up, and they want to be on their way home. And there have been times where, like this past week, the game went very quickly because it was a one-sided game and they didn't really want to stop the clock anymore. So that game was over, and here came I was supposed to start at 9 o'clock, and here I've got the gymnasium pretty much 3/4 full by 8:45. So it can vary. It can vary.
That would be a quick game. Wow.
So yeah, it wasn't a pretty game, but they were playing against one of the highly ranked state ranked team, and their team, which is typically a very solid team, is having a down year. So you put the two together, and that's not a good thing for a homecoming experience. So I've got the list. Did you guys get a chance? I put it in the messenger. Did you guys grab the list there so you can just kind of follow along?
You did what?
It's in the messenger, our group chat, group
It
messenger
is?
chat. It should be in the bottom there.
On that other thing or in this chat?
No, it was in Facebook Messenger. Okay.
I don't read stuff, John. Remember,
Well,
so you have to.
Okay, I'll see if I can add it here.
Yeah, you might need to add it here because it might be the whole Facebook still doesn't like you.
It probably is. I
All right.
don't even know how I can.
Nope, nothing in FB.
Huh. Okay, just a sec here. I'm gonna see if this will. No.
So,
That's not.
Yeah, you're saying?
how's it going?
So yeah, that's not working either. I can't send a. I don't think I can send a file through.
Darn, we can't see the list.
Oh man, that's just so disappointing. So yeah, well, I'll have to go through and take it from the beginning. So the kids started coming in at 1:45, and I wanted to have that last half hour because I know sometimes kids are bebopping in and out of the area. I wanted to have some newer things, so I went through one of the recurrent charts, found some songs that I wouldn't be playing. So I had like Peaches from Justin Bieber, Mood from 24K Golden, Adore You from Harry Styles, and Put Your Records On. Those were going, and then I had Machine Gun Kelly with My Ex's Best Friend. Those are going to be my pre-show songs as the kids came in. Well, Peaches started, and it went from having 4 kids in there at 1:45 to about 150 kids because they were just, the game was over, and they opened the door, and they were there. So I didn't, typically then I would have just kind of panicked and started the dance, but I figured, I'm going to just let them sit there and they can mingle and they can do whatever they want because they're going to just stand and do that anyway, most likely once you start playing. So then at 5 minutes to, then I went from the medium volume, dropped the lights, and then started out with Bruno Mars' 24K Magic. Wanted to open with that. I was looking for something because Brian had experience with his Wisconsin-based homecoming. He had found that he was having better luck with songs that were pre-2015, that were just a little bit older. The kids seemed to respond better to those than they did some of the newer songs. So I wanted to start off with that. And the kids were coming in and or down the sides, and they were kind of bebopping and singing along to the refrain and the hook and such, and off it went. Then I moved on from there to Shut Up and Dance because I wanted to have that high crowd recognition song. And it worked very well. I had about half the kids come out onto the dance floor and move out there as they sang along. One thing with this list and what I did is there was very little mixing. As far as there was a couple of times that I did a beat mix with the two, or we went from one to the other. Most of the time it was either a slam type mix. That really was the majority of what I was doing here because we were all over the board. Because I had 7 through 12 at this dance. So there's times I'm doing something that's going to be aimed more at this group of kids, and times over here, and the two didn't go together very well. At times. Then Dua Lipa, I did levitate. I wanted to use levitating. I wanted to get that out there, and I wanted to do something that was kind of more current than the old stuff to kind of see how it would go. And ironically, it kind of started to clear the dance floor. I was a little surprised at that. So then I thought, well, I've got a lot of younger kids, a lot of younger, teenage girls, 7th, 8th, 9th grade teenage girls. I thought, let's see what Olivia Rodrigo would do. And cued into the faster part of Good For You, went into the upbeat side of that. And that actually, they responded quite well to. I was a little surprised at that because I just didn't, her music just doesn't seem to be a dancing type music.
Okay.
So it started to bring the kids back in, and then that took me. I went in from there to Taylor Swift's "Shake It Off," and that was ironic.
I love MJ's face.
All these songs you're saying, I wouldn't play them for a crowd that's under 30.
Really?
They're
Now I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree on a couple. I disagree with you, MJ, on a couple. So let me start off with I had great response with Shut Up and Dance. Back at prom I did. I mean it's old enough, but it's got that sing along. With the high school crowd, it tends to work. I think one of the things that I've noticed a lot with the teen dances that I've done, you've got to be either really current or really recurrent. You're not. I think the reason why levitating didn't work for you, it was too old, but not old enough. To the point that, I mean, levitating was last summer, into the fall, and so it just didn't quite have the same. Now, if you had gone with Love Again, you might have seen a different response with her. Mm-hmm. Or if you'd gone a little bit older, Why Start Now? You had gone something in that direction.
Yep.
I think you may have seen a little bit better response than if you had Levitating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of with with Taylor Swift. She's kind of hit and miss with that crowd. So I think your Shake It Off could have worked. And I'm curious, did your Shake It Off work with probably that 7 to 9 age
It actually,
group?
Ironically, it pulled it. I had a good group with the Good For You. And then the Shake It Off actually kind of filled in with a variety of ages. It kind of pulled there. There was still some of the boys were on the side, but I was pulling the girls in with that. And I think you kind of hit a nail on the head there, Dan, when you mentioned that either it's got to be current or recurrent. There's like the middle ground is a dead space, because Saturday night Michael had a school down towards the Minneapolis area that he did, and his was current rap. That's what they wanted. It was nothing else. And he played some of the songs that he had played the night before in a school, down the road here, about 20 miles, larger school than what I played. And the kids were like, yeah, no, you can, as they just all stood there, and it's like, just go to the next song. Because some of the recurrents would not fly with that group of kids, which is probably what MJ is used to, a crowd more like that.
Spend the whole night between 65 BPM and 80 BPM. Never leave that the whole night, and they would be so happy.
Wow. And that's what Michael ran into it, because he actually mentioned the BPM thing, because it wasn't fast enough to this and it was fast, and he listens to that type of music. He didn't even know half of the songs these kids were into, because
they're not going to be on a top 40 chart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of them are going to be TikTok ones. Some of them are going to be just the hip hop charts. Some of them are going to be like Spotify's top something or others. Some of them are just, if you just get a twerk version of another song. Like I'm looking at a list. I have a twerk version of Trumpets that went well. Mm-hmm. Again, it's something that's not popular because it's old. That went there. My Girl and My Type twerk versions. Anything by Drake.
I think, John, you hit it on the head when you talked also just about the difference in the schools. So within my area, there's mainly a lot of rural-ish type schools. And when I think back to the prom, and I was talking about some of that was a more rural school, for lack of better terms. Yep. Even though it's just right across the river from what would be more of the urban school. And in that one, exactly. You've got to go current. You've got to go hip hop or rap. But what's kind of interesting with it is, even within that grouping, because of the way our area is kind of made up, you've got a more vocal population that wants that, but you've got a large population that wants other things. And so to kind of play that game when you get that really mixed big school can be fun.
Yeah.
For lack of better terms.
Yeah. And I think that was part of what Michael ran into, is he had that one crew that was very vocal, wanting a specific. And the girls and some of the guys who are in some of the sporting teams that just come in there and they just have a good time. The student council kids, they drifted off towards the back. So the ones that like to request Billie Jean as an example, they want to hear that during a dance, because they go out and they make a circle and do their thing, and then they try to pull the advisor out, and she does her little Michael Jackson thing. Those kids didn't rule the dance or run the dance like they typically do, because of having a stronger, smaller vocal, or a vocal group of guys who wanted that harder rap. So
did you play Truffle Butter?
No. No, it really, this, as I'm looking at it, so, I'm going to buzz through just a handful more.
Yeah, keep going.
One Direction, What Makes You Beautiful, again, went really well. And then we jumped all the way back to the old Macarena. And there were three kids I had probably 250, 300 kids on the floor. There were like three kids who weren't out on the dance floor for Macarena. I took that one because of Brian saying it worked for his group, and I've had kids request it in the past couple of years. I thought, let's just use that.
You play the new one?
No, I went
old one?
I went the old one. Wow. And
what you're saying, and I'm not cutting on you for doing it, because if it was successful, who cares? Play what they want to hear.
Right.
But those to me are all wedding songs. Everything you're saying is a wedding song.
To a point, there is a level of that. And as
if it works,
yeah. And
don't anybody take my words about being wild about it, because if it works for you, run with it. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And with this crowd, it did. And typically, it wouldn't have been quite as weddingish as this, but for this group of kids, they went. And I don't know if it's because they haven't had a dance in 2 or 3 years. The last time. It was 2 years ago. I did this that weekend. That I was the one who did the last dance at that school 2 years ago. So it could easily have been that. A newer song, which MJ probably plays a lot of this one, Walker Hayes, Fancy Like.
I actually have a twerk version of that I've been playing, and I played it at a place the other night, and they went bananas when it went to that twerk. They were actually doing line dances to it, so apparently there's a line dance to it.
Yeah, yep.
And when it got to the twerk version, they stopped for a minute, and then they started twerking, and then when it got back to him singing again, it went back to the line dance. It was like, cool, let's do this.
And then at a point in time there, towards the end of it, I slammed into the refrain from "Fishing in the Dark" because there's always a kid or two in the crowd who's going to request that as soon as they hear a country song.
That has to be a country one. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, "Fishing in the Dark." So it's basically just the you and me go fishing.
You're talking about the '70s band?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
What the deuce?
And it will get requested at a lot of the schools.
I would literally get drug out if I tried to play that somewhere. Everyone would drag me out, take my equipment, and take over the dance.
Probably.
So, the thing is, and this is kind of interesting, and I wonder if there is kind of a double shift type of thing happening here, where in some ways there's a separation as far as the students are concerned, and the music that they're liking or wanting for a dance versus a couple years ago. So I talked about the prom I did 2 years before. I did the same school, kind of similar, John, to what you're saying. I probably, if I had taken that playlist from that night and used it at the most recent prom, it would have worked. And 2 years before, the second court was done, they were gone. Wow. And now, granted, I was at that particular one, and I've kind of referred to this one before. I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. 2 weeks before the prom, out of nowhere, the advisor goes, "Sorry, radio edits are not good enough. If it's not clean in the original, we're not allowing it."
Oh wow!
And it was so last minute that it was kind of like, and of course the kids were requesting what they want to hear, and it was kind of like, I can't, like, they're just, my hands are tied here, and some got it, and that was probably also why they left. Mm-hmm. But what I'm finding, and we're also, think about TikTok, think about some of the trends that we're seeing. We saw Fleetwood Mac suddenly came back out of nowhere. And when it was popular in all ages, not just people who were on TikTok who probably shouldn't be on TikTok. But also just like, you like that, MJ? Thanks.
No, because I've now coined that it's no longer TikTok for me. It's called TikToxic.
There you go. But I think in some aspects, there is this ability to have this song that they want to respond to. And, we've even talked about, or you see on Facebook, different groups in the DJ chats where they're saying, today's music is just not danceable. And I think we run into some of that with some of the students as well, to the point that they love hearing it. They love singing it. They love, shouting it and whatever. But when it comes to actually using it at a dance, they recognize that it doesn't quite have the feel that they want, and so they end up pulling in some of the old stuff. And maybe I'm grasping at straws here, but I feel like
we can take this to another point. That's why you get twerk versions and I just blanked on the other type. Twerk and trap versions of everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how slow it is. If you have something that it drops into something they can twerk to. They, at least I'm telling you, places that I do, you know, whether it be one way or the other. But I could spend a whole night playing nothing but twerk edits the whole night, and everyone would be happy.
Crazy.
Because I even have a Latin version. Remember was Cardi B's "I Like It Like That."
Mm-hmm.
So that was a slower one, and I had this upbeat, twerky sort of thing for that, and they loved it. You just have that's the whole thing about digging for songs. You never like I don't know if it was on my show that I was talking about it, or you and I were talking about it last week, John. I don't remember, about the fact that I literally the services that I download from, one of them is illegal. We talked about the illegal thing, and it's because I have to get those versions, because if I couldn't get those versions, there's literally nowhere I could DJ by playing the regular album version. Nowhere. Nobody wants those. So
yeah,
it's interesting. I think like you are out there a bit, John, because I felt that I grew up out in the middle of nowhere, and my high school class had as many people as in your town. So out there and then out there are two different
precisely,
things.
Yes, and we're definitely.
How many kids were at the dance total, do you think?
There were about 300 that came.
Oh,
but
okay.
with that,
five grades, you said, or 6 grades?
6 grades, but they had the most guests that they've invited. Basically, I think he said this was like their 4th time the invite that they've had at any of the past homecoming dances. And I think a part of that is because you've got other schools in the area who some didn't have homecoming dances this fall because of the COVID situation. So I think that here it was as the first homecoming dance of the season, and they know that there's a decent DJ who that plays, takes requests from the kids and such, and it doesn't play them, just ignores them. But I do take them and put them on the list. So there's that. But the kids, they've responded pretty well to what I've done there in the past. I mean, Lori started going to that school 25 years ago. So we've been doing their homecoming for a long time over there. So let me run through a few more songs here, and we can kind of talk about that. So coming out of my bridge out of the country, playing Old Town Road, which was a request, and so I played part of that. Bad Guy was a request. Baby Shark was a request, and that took me into Cupid Shuffle, which was another request. I was going to do just the Baby Shark, just enough I was just going to do a clip of it and be in and out as a joke, which I have done before. No, they went out there and they started dancing and singing along to it as a huge group of kids, having a great time with it. But it's like, okay, I can't cut this. I was going to mix in and out of it just like that. Now we're going to take it right to the painful, bitter end of Baby Shark. We're going to hear Grandma.
That reminds me like a couple years ago when I did Little Einsteins, like where out of nowhere, like that one had there was some.
I have a twerk version of that one.
That's what I have too. I think you sent it my way one time, and I was like, yeah, this is the same one I have. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, but even take kind of that part out of it, like take the twerk part out of it. Like they responded like it was the regular TV version.
Yeah, because
but it wasn't going to last like for long either. But.
Yeah, it's real short. So if you get, because it's just the words is all I play. Yeah, but it's got a funky, like, hard beat to it. Yeah. And then that countdown. Heck, you can use that countdown on anything. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Although the first time I did it, like I still remember, like one of the first times I did it, like they all kind of went like, we know this countdown. Like I would say, all right, let's start it with 5, and they go 5, 4, 3, and I was like, oh yeah, like it didn't space out the right way at all.
You gotta when I always run that as a loop so that they hear it, and then they hear it, and then they hear it, and they're like, oh my gosh, is he gonna do this? And then you let it go.
That's good. I might have to bring that back. I potentially have a middle school dance the end of the year or the end of the month. Potentially is the very key word right now.
I'm trying to find a list from the one that I did. Keep going, John. I'm going to hunt and see if I'm going to throw some out there that might throw you off a bit.
Let's see. So continuing here. Flowrida, I went. Low is going to be later because that still is a very hot song. For we just lost Dan.
No, I'm here. I just have to step away for a brief second.
Okay. Yep, okay.
I'll be right back. Yeah.
Yep. I see you there. So Flowrida was there. Did My House because they like that one. Starship from Nicki Minaj is. I've got a version that I've gone through. I did a lyric video, cleaned it up, and laid that over the track so they can actually, it kind of makes it better than the actual music video. Then I mixed into Kings and Queens, just catching the upbeat part of it coming out of Starships, went into that, and then did a left turn going into some old stuff with old I love rock and roll, and then I have a little routine that I do to Don't Stop Believin'. We do video screens, and I have it where first verse, the first section, the juniors and seniors sing it, then the freshmen and sophomores sing, and then the 7th and 8th graders sing it at the school. So I had a group of some kids. I've got 7th and 8th graders who've never seen me do this or have never been part of this.
Right.
And the older kids have, so they knew what was coming and how it was going to work. And so it was kind of fun. But the I Love Rock and Roll, I was wanting to kind of throw that out there to see as a feeler, okay, are these kids? And again, the kids knew, they know the old stuff, which my
Dan?
6th grader.
Did he play any? Did you play any? Did you force it on him?
No. We're good yet. No, I did not. I didn't do any
wow.
Huey Lewis. I did not do any. That was pretty much my I don't even know if I got
my turn to be right. I'll be right back.
Billie Jean. Yes, I did. I had somebody request Billie Jean. No, no, excuse me. They requested it and I used it as I played it later when we were getting the royalty lined up. I used that as my bumper music for royalty getting lined up. So you mentioned the Don't Start Now. That came out of Low from Flowrida with that. And Low, of course, had the dance floor full. And then coming out of that with Don't Start Now, that actually went over very well, which after you mentioned it, Dan, I probably could have used that earlier and it might have done better than Levitating did.
Do you play the regular version, Levitating?
I do not. I very seldom I'm doing different mixes and such because that's not a thing that the kids, unless they're going online and listening to things, their radio station, they're not hearing those things up here that much yet.
Wait, they listen to radio stations?
They do. Yes. There's.
Wow, where are these kids from?
Not all
Minnesota,
of them.
duh.
There's not all of them, but there still is a percentage of that. That's a thing.
Wow. My ever-loving mind. Let's
see. Trying to kind of go through. So yeah, Don't Start Now. Cha-Cha Slide went over really well. Because of having such a wide range of ages there. Can you play a slow song next? Started coming up about half an hour into the dance. So my first slow song was played at the 1 hour in. So I had a half an hour of 7th and 8th grade boys coming up there. Can you play a slow song next, please? I really like to dance with the girl. Can you play a slow song?
Can I ask a question for you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Do you check with the schools if they're okay with slow dances?
I have in the past, especially if it's a new school. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I've never checked, but to be honest with you, I usually outside of prom, I usually try and avoid it. Like I just prom's a little bit different. It's a different atmosphere, different vibe. When I've done some formals, I'll throw like one in, but they're fine with like not having it.
And with proms, I've had a situation where we've like played a slow one at the beginning, just as the adults are leaving, and we've had inja, and then we'll kind of play a little bit slower type song as the kids are kind of taking some final pictures, and then they're there, and then we go. I don't know if I played more than maybe 2 slow songs at a prom in a long time, because they've been pretty good. But you get into a junior high dance up here, and it's like every 15 minutes we want to have 2 slow songs. And then if you could please say Snowball during that, so then or change partners during that so we can go dance with somebody else, please.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the I don't do any junior high dances anymore, but that was a thing.
Mental note.
Anybody else hearing banjos right now?
What's that, Dan?
Is anybody else hearing banjos right now? I'm just
Yeah, that's what happens. So yeah, I'm going to go through slow songs. So I did the one at 1 hour in, and there was another.
When I read my list, you're gonna cry.
Gosh, I didn't. I thought I had played more slow than that, but I guess I didn't. I did a couple of them. That last hour, I think I had a couple. Probably 3 of them in the last hour or so. But yeah, I thought I had more than that. Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby, I was going to play just a section of it because I just wanted that out of the slow song. I wanted the beginning of Ice Ice Baby, and I wanted to get in and out of it. Once again, then they started dancing and singing along to it. So there we are. We're listening to the whole
I
song.
would have a teacher throw me out if I played that. The kids would be like, "What is this?" And the teacher would be like, "Don't worry, I got this."
He's out. Then I had a request for Thrift Shop from Macklemore, and then we did Truth Hurts Lizzo. And then we Grand March. We lined them up when I used Billie Jean as my bumper music for that. They did I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, which they paraded in. They do their Grand March through the homecoming royalty. They come in. There's no introduction of them anymore because generally not all of them are there. So it's basically the song starts, now, ladies and gentlemen, your 2021 homecoming royalty. And yay! They come in. They go a circle around the little middle circle of the dance or the basketball court. And then they stand there and look at each other for a few seconds. And okay, now let's everyone just go and join them and slow dance. That's what it's become. So technically that was another slow dance for some of the kids. It used to be that we did more with that, but the kids it's gotten, I don't even know why we do it anymore. But
do they do stuff up there where the parents, they do a march where the parents can take pictures and stuff?
That for prom they do, but not for the homecoming. And they do the coronation on usually Sunday nights. So I think Dan mentioned that they will crown a king and queen during the football game. They do this. It's all Sunday, so they have the week to be the homecoming king and queen. All week they can wear they can wear the crowns. So that's
hoity-toity.
Pretty special. Uptown Funk I've got a version of Dynamite that I use that I've done some trimming on because I don't want to have the whole thing. Wannabe Spice Girls, Wobble. Cotton Eye Joe, which there's multiple versions of the line dance going on for Cotton Eye Joe.
I wanted it to die the day it came out, and it's still not dead.
And they were having so much fun with that. And then there's the 7th grade kids on the side they go and they look at which ones that the older kids that they're inspired by, and that's the ones they're trying to learn how they did whatever the dance they're doing. Because they're over there. There's boys doing a version of a dance, and there's over here there's a girls. So. Let's see. Soulja Boy was Brian had mentioned in his that it was requested and he played it and it went over well, and I requested and it went over really well with Crank That.
Yeah.
I would also say if you're gonna add in, believe it or not, Kiss Me Through the Phone for some reason with Soulja Boy. It's another one that kind of surprised me, requested, and I was like,
those are called throwback songs.
I realize, but
Soulja Boy's old school.
Yeah, like real old school. And it was just kind of like,
have you met my playlist? It's kind of an old school thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just got to go there. So the next one was one actually we talked about earlier in the day when I took my kids to school in the morning. I said, there's a song I've been toying around because it went really well at weddings this summer. The Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way, that people would sing along to it really well. And I said, I like when they're singing, how it works when I sing along to it because it's kind of cool. But I don't know if people will know it. And my 6th grader, he's like, oh, is it this song? And he starts singing it. So it's like, okay, so kids probably know it from somewhere, way, shape, or form. So took a chance on it. And by gosh, the kids knew it 70%, 75% of the kids knew the song.
Whatever radio station they are all listening to, does not get new music.
Yeah,
and that's how they know it. Their parents, what are we listening to? The AM station or the FM station tonight?
Well, but okay, time out there for a second. So we've talked about this before, where we're influenced by the stuff that our parents listen to. So maybe not the upper high school, but your middle school age, at least,
probably still being influenced. Yeah.
Are being influenced by their parents who were listening to the 90s and early 2000s stuff. And so it doesn't 100% surprise me that it would be something that they would know enough and kind of respond to.
And I think that's it. And that could explain an awful lot of what we were seeing. So what I did is the video for that is just, the guys singing, doing their thing. And it's like, okay, so I need to do similar to what I do with the Don't Stop Believin'. I need to get a lyric video for those kids who don't know to sing along and then have those up there. So then I can, because we were doing this school, they want to do music video and we can shoot across the gym to a huge white wall on the other side. So it's a 40-foot screen on the other side of the area. So the kids can watch this whole thing going on. So that was something that when I came home Sunday, I basically created the lyric video that I wanted for that, to use that for future. Because if the kids know it, that means that I'm going to be able to get a few years out of utilizing that as one of the shtick for the shows.
Sometimes lyric videos they really help. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a couple of them that I've really liked, and I'm going to definitely bring that. Let's see, 5 Seconds of Summer, Youngblood was a bridge to go from the Backstreet Boys to a request of Capital City's Safe and Sound. That one I had taken off my playlist quite a long time ago. And when the kid came up and requested, it's like, what the heck, let's give it. And it surprisingly did well, much better than I had expected, almost better than it did when it came out. I always thought it would do better, but it just never did. And yeah, the kids responded well to it. So there must be something that is played somewhere. I don't know. BTS, I wanted to save a couple. They're two bigger tracks for later. Ironically, we don't have any music videos from the only. I didn't have the music videos for those two songs, Butter or Dynamite.
Got both of them.
Yeah, so I was surprised.
I could have sworn I got.
They look.
I don't get anywhere for anywhere else, so I'm gonna. I don't
think I saw it. I couldn't find it, so I had to play the album version. And then Pitbull, Timber, we played that. I love it.
For his new one, I Feel Good.
No,
I'm getting hammered for that.
Yeah,
really?
The Pitbull requests. The two that I got was Timber and Fireball, and I didn't get to Fire. But yeah, I have not, and even those I haven't had a ton of. It's kind of stupid fly bothering me. I haven't had a ton of requests for his stuff at any time, but. Let's see. So yeah, Butter, Timber, I Love It, Fergalicious. Fergalicious was one that we never used to play, and it 3 or 4 years ago we started playing it, and it's still oh my gosh.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. To me, it came out of nowhere again. Like I was there I was at this one school for a formal, and it was on their request list. Like they gave me ahead of time, and I'm like I'm seeing some stuff, and all of a sudden I saw that one. It's like, oh, okay. And they go nuts. Mm-hmm. And I know we're talking school dance tonight, but I'm going to tie it to a wedding. If you've got a mid to late 20 wedding, play that and you'll get a similar type of response. They know the Fergie part like that. Do not mix out before that.
Yeah.
The JJ Fad, what part you mean?
The Boba?
The rap she does at the end?
Yeah.
That's from JJ Fad, from the 80s.
Okay.
We're not that old. Sorry, sir. We're not that old. We got to keep going here, guys. So then I had some of these senior boys requesting "Let's Groove" from Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I put it off a little bit, so I gave it a shot. And oh my gosh,
that's a TikTok thing.
It's got to be. It's a TikTok.
Right. What was the one I got recently from TikTok that everybody just pushed me hard on?
Well, this
I'll find it here.
This is almost a back-to-back because Let's Groove, and I at a point in time got mixed out of that into YMCA. Then they were asking for September, so it was basically Let's Groove, YMCA, back to September, and yeah, it was. They were all three very, very well engaged with that. Went to Party in USA from Miley Cyrus. Single Ladies was a request. The girls, the volleyball girls wanted that. We did slow it down. I did slow it down again, so this would be my third slow song of the night with Ed Sheeran's Perfect. It came out of that with Mickey, Fancy, Katy Perry's Roar. I'm picking up some. Mickey was not a request, but Fancy and Roar was, and then another slow song. This was for the 8th grade boys. All of Me from John Legend, and then
that's a good slow song.
Yeah, and then we there was an A-OK was a request. And Harry Styles, Watermelon Sugar. Doja Cat, Kiss Me More. And then somebody wanted to Flow Riders Right Round. And then James Blunt, You're Beautiful. And the only reason I picked that slow song as the last slow song is because I only had 2.5 minutes of time left. And I needed a slow song that was close to that time. And that's the one that the kids got. So
the TikTok one that I keep getting hammered for, and literally when I downloaded it in the genre, it has TikTok in the genre. It's Friday by it's the original music is from Nightcrawlers and Musifa and Hyperman. That one came out of nowhere. And if you want my other list, I'll let you know. It'll make your head hurt. Like Toes by DaBaby, Little Baby, and Moneybagg Yo. That was huge. Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mills was huge. Up by Cardi B. What was some of the other ones? Was it Take Me? Where's the other? No Hands by Waka Flocka is made its way back. Just kick my butt on that. Swervin' is a twerk mix. Ballin' is a twerk mix. Rack City, for some reason, they want that back.
Yep.
Get Ratchet, which I hate that song. What was some of the other ones that were there?
Lip Gloss.
Lip Gloss. I hit him with that because I don't mind that one so much. What was the one? Wipe Me Down. Was one,
Little Boosie.
Yeah, that one. I hate that one too. Trap Queen. They wanted that one. Heck, on this list, apparently I played Up twice. So apparently I played it twice that night. There's Twerk with Cardi B, into Lip Gloss, into Back That Thing Up, which I got out of that so quick because I went into Going Bad by Meek Mills. They wanted that one. So that's a WAP. I hate that song. It's just this stuff I hate I have to play. Booty Me Down is another one.
So I'm going through the jumping back to Michael's on Saturday because he had a lot more rap stuff, and if it wouldn't have been for using that instant DJ request that in advance, because we designed the posters, got them to the schools, and they hung those around so kids could do the QR code with their phone and make requests in advance. That's where we were able to find some of those rap songs and go looking for them. If we wouldn't have had that, they did not hit the main music services. So they were things that we had to purchase some of them from iTunes even, which is nice.
On BPM Supreme, they already have crates and folders of that stuff just strictly for that.
Yeah, very possible. Yeah.
They also have what is that called? Homecoming crates. So and I hate the fact that you can go buy someone's playlist and you don't have to know the music yourself. But if you do need it and you get stuck like that, there are services out there that can help you that way.
So I'm looking at Michael's the request list from the instant DJ request for this Friday's dance, and one of the songs that's been requested is the song that Michael and his buddies did. The Dooski Bro song is. The kids have requested. It must have been one of the. I think that was one of the schools that we played at. We played at that time. That was funny.
That thing may make a hit.
Yeah.
Yet it may make a hit yet.
That's funny. So yeah, that was my homecoming experience. Mine was more that retro wedding type dance with that mixed group of kids. Michael's was generally, he had sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and it was predominantly a more of an urban music taste and more of much more of the harder rap is what they were after. And
here's something to think about. I don't even know if I should talk about this. No, I won't talk about it. We'll talk about it afterwards, and if you guys agree, we'll put it on another show.
Yeah, we'll have to do another show. Yeah, because we need to wrap up. Yeah. Okay, so tomorrow night, Brian and Jay will be coming in and doing their 10 o'clock show. Tomorrow night, MJ, are you Wednesday night? Do you?
I don't know yet. I want to think about doing another virtual DJ one because they just come out with an update that has to do with some really, really cool stuff that I think people would like. So I'm debating on bringing that out because, like I said, it's really cool.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. Just have fun with it on Wednesday.
All right, so we're going to have more virtual DJ talk Wednesday night. Join me.
So tonight, after we're done here, you can go to DJNTV.com/chill. Howie's going to be talking about backup, and he's got Rachel Lynch and Lou Paris coming in to talk with him tonight. So that'll be at 10 o'clock Eastern. So in about 9 minutes, they'll be getting ready to go with that. You can go again, DJNTV.com/chill for that. Then in a couple of weeks, we're going to be doing our October night of DJNTV training. That's October 18th. We'll be doing that. So in 2 weeks from tonight, that's going to be our wedding night. And what we're going to do is for the first hour, so from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock Eastern, I'm going to have a DJ from the South, Mike Schnauder. Rachel Lynch is going to come in. She's going to be our DJ from the East Coast coming in, the Eastern. I've got an Upper Midwest DJ, Michael Lunstra, and then I've got Jay Brandon coming in from a California perspective. And we're going to look at different aspects of the wedding and find out how each person from the different locales around the country has to do that aspect of the wedding differently, because there's parts that our weddings can similar in some ways, different in a lot. So we're going to go through that with the four of them on a panel for the first hour of our DJNTV training night that night. Then we're going to have Ron Ruth coming in, and he's going to do a presentation for us at 9 o'clock Eastern, and then at 9:30 Eastern, Dave Tournier is going to come and wrap us up for that. And this will all be happening October 18th. DJNTV.com/virtual expo will take you to the page where the video players will be. So just kind of remember that and keep that night open. Before that, there's going to be there's going to be two of our exhibitors that will be there that night. Perfect Portals, I believe, is going to be. Which one's coming? Which one will be there first here? Yes, at 7 o'clock Eastern, Perfect Portals is going to be doing a presentation in the chill room. And then at 7:30, Danny Max from Max Design is going to be taking you through his new warehouse. He'll have that all up and running. We're going to get a teaser next week. We didn't do Danny Max, his interview tonight because of the Facebook thing being down. It messed his whole day up. So next week, Danny Max is going to give us a teaser of it, and then on the 18th, he's going to take us on a tour during the DJNTV training night. So it should be a lot of fun. So looking forward to that. So I think that's it. I think we're ready to go.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for spending some time with us tonight. Maybe you got some song ideas. Maybe you realize that the group you play for is exactly like John's and you're all set to go. Maybe you realize it's completely like MJ's and you're just going to like bombard him with messages to figure out what you need to play. Or maybe you're just like, let's do a mixture of everything. Why not? Just throw it at them all and see what happens. Whatever is the case, hopefully they had a fun time tonight. We thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.